Right. So yeah. And so I'm getting into like the existence of our being, because the thing is, everything is down to the smallest thing is a frequency. It's a frequency. You think about something, you have an idea, you thought about it, you put it down on paper, then you brought it to life. You brought it to life. Now it's here physically in the 3D world, taking up space. And as simple as you brought it in to this world, it can easily degrade and be disintegrated back into dust. Nothing lasts forever, right? And so what am I trying to get at, right? What the thing that I'm trying to help understand is that everything is a frequency. We can speak things, music, sound is a frequency, right? The different tones in your voice, in music. When somebody speaks to you in a certain way and they can make you angry, they can make you cry, they can make you laugh, they can make you sad just by changing the tonality of your voice. I mean, it's frequencies talking to frequencies that interact within this space to create reality. And so even though things seem like solid, if we know anything about science as of today, 2023, atoms do not touch each other. They pass by very closely, but they don't exactly touch each other, right? And it may seem like we touch things or things are touching us, but technically we aren't touching anything. We can feel the texture of something. We can notice how rough or smooth something is. The desk feels really smooth. This rock feels rough. But at the same time, you're not really touching anything. You can experience it. But if atoms only pass through very closely and they don't actually touch, because look at it. For something to become a solid, right? You'd have to turn something that's liquid into a solid. So liquid is like molecules is when it's mostly spread out. It's all over the place. It's watery. It's you try to pick it up and it just falls out of your hand. You can't even pick it up. It's just watery, right? But then you can boil it. And by heating up the temperature, it can turn into gas and vaporize away. But if you was to take that same water and freeze it, it turns into ice. Ice, you could pick up a bowl of ice. You can't pick up a bowl of water with your hands. You could pick up a bowl of ice. You can't pick up a bowl of smoke, but you can pick up a bowl of ice. Because it's a solid structure, which can easily turn back into a liquid and easily turn back into a gas at any time. And so with that being said, that's at the simplest that you could put it at. But what I'm trying to say is I'm just trying to give the understanding and the note my position on the physics of things, I mean, if we look at the world as a whole, if that reigns true, I mean, everything is a frequency, everything is said and it's there, it appears. Someone had to say it and it appeared, right? a frequency. I mean, let's look at it. Let's look at it. Maybe you don't have to say anything. You can just make something. You don't have to say it. You could just make it. You think it's made. You know, are cells intelligent? I think so. They have the double slit experiment, right? And in short, when you observe a molecule, it changes its position from a wave to a particle. When you analyze a molecule, it turns from a wave to a particle, right? I hope I'm saying that right. But I know that in order for that to happen, there must be some kind of intelligence somewhere in that design. Now, I've heard claims that it may be conscious. To be conscious means that it's able to make decisions. So it decided to make the decision. It first of all, it knows when you observe it. How could it know that it observes that it's being observed when it doesn't have eyes? Well, we can't really say what's intelligent from what's not intelligent. There's no measurement. Just because we have eyes and a brain to process things doesn't mean that can't be intelligent in its own way. Our brain operates off of chemical reactions. You get me? So if it's being observed and if it wants to turn into a particle versus a wave when you're not observing it, we can't say that that's not intelligence, because it does so, and it does so flawlessly and every single time. So, I mean, there's something to be said, and to even to wanna notice and to observe with just that alone. And so I was thinking, you know, once a particle is observed, once a molecule is observed, then we can have an object. You know, we can go places with this. You know, I think that we are onto something when it comes to that. I think our universe, I think we can't, because I strongly believe that there are different forces that interact with our physical force, our physical reality. There are forces that interact with our physical reality every single day, right? I know I've experienced it, you know, spiritually. And if I can believe in God and angels and demons, not saying that I believe that now, but what I'm saying is, if I could believe even or have the thought or the idea of, then that means that they would only exist if I believe in it, right? But if I don't believe in it, that means they don't exist. But technically, that's not what the point I was trying to make. But let me get to that point still. If we are able to, I mean, we can, like, you know, I mean, I'm just thinking about it. Like, I'm honestly having a conversation with myself. I'm thinking about it, that we just, you know, what we believe, the things that we believe in are just thoughts of our imaginations. And just like how, you know, our brain develops a chemical reaction to make our reality true, I really think that whatever exists is because we believe in it, you know? And so, I mean, it just seems like that's how our universe is built. I mean, to me right now, everything is everything as is. You know, stuff interact. Oh, that's what I was talking about, the different dimensions, right? So yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, the fact that we're in this physical realm, and then we have different dimensions that we can interact with. Even going back to I remember one time I was watching this video on YouTube, and they was talking about different different dimensions, and from 2D to 3D to 4D to all the way to 11D or whichever, right? And the different shadows. And for a while I just couldn't understand it, and one day it clicked, because I was continuously doing research from time to time, and I'll put it down and I'll go do other things. But you know, going back on it one day, it just made sense. You know, you have for instance, we're a 3D body, right? We live in a 3-dimensional space, right? A space and time. We live in a 3-dimensional world, right? What we can see and interact with, that's what we can do. That's just what we're tuned into. We're tuned into the 3D frequency, right? But when cast a shadow, if once we cast a shadow, our shadows are 2D. So if a 4-dimensional creature was to cast a shadow, their shadow will be casted down to 3D. Now, would that 3D shadow have a 2D shadow? Possibly. But if we keep going up, that's the same thing. And I mean, the 4D would have a dimension. The 4D when they cast a shadow, they would cast a shadow down to the 3D realm. So when we see things from a 3D's perspective, it may or may not be real. It could just be played from the 4th dimension down to the 3rd dimension. And so I was thinking, you know, maybe certain things that we're seeing in the sky now, they seem real, but maybe it's being played from the 4th dimension down to the 3rd dimension. Now, can we interact with certain things if it's just a shadow? Possibly. Because if it's 2D, I mean, can we interact with 2D? Like if we write down, it's like we write down in 2D, right? Or we write down in 1D. I don't know. I guess we can interact it in some ways, you know? I guess we can. You know, it's research. I don't know. I gotta look into that. But I think that the 4D cast a shadow down to the 3D world. The 4D when cast a shadow is 3D. That's their shadow, is the 3D. And because of that, and because we live in a 3D realm and we only experience in the 3D, you know, we will see that, and we can interact with it, and it interacts with us. Now, would that explain extraterrestrials and their vehicles? Possibly. Maybe. And could people be possibly playing with our minds as well? Possibly. Maybe. You get me? I mean, these are things that we could see and we could just analyze, and then they say things higher than that get casted down to the 3D realm. So I mean, these are things that I always wanted to put my idea down with that. So I just wanted to just make sure I released it onto tape and have a recording somewhere. And so I'm gonna just listen back to it. But mostly manifestation. I don't know. Lately, I've just been talking about manifestation, and I just wanted to just get on top of that because when people talk about manifestation, oh, you need to manifest what you want and da 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 da. But they don't really break it down to the science. They don't really let you or have you understand what the hell or how does it work in that way. You get me? And I like to break it down so that I can know for myself, okay, how does this work and why does this work that way? You can't just tell me just manifest, like just manifest what you want and then it will come true. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Just because you could do something easily doesn't mean that you can do it properly. You get what I'm saying? That's why it only works sometime for you and sometime it don't work. You get me? Because it's as simple to me. Now that I know how to make it work, that means whether good or bad, positive or negative, or what we call good or evil, the yin yang, you get me? That means that it will come to pass either way because the universe or nature as a whole does not have partial for words. It only knows frequency. So if you have the right frequency and the right tonality toward things, then the only thing it can do is obey the laws. And if the laws say that you just have to have the correct frequency for something to be manifested, then it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It will manifest either way. It's the same way how a killer can say, I want to go take that man's life. And he goes and does it flawlessly. And it's the same way how a preacher can come and heal the sick flawlessly. I mean, if you believe, you can get it done. You manifest what you want. You use the right frequencies and the right tonalities, and you bring it to pass. That's why they say bring it to pass, because it's already done. From you open your mouth, it's already done. It take over from you open your mouth and you end your sentence. It done right there, so that you just need to understand that when you speak certain frequencies, it will come to pass. It will come to pass, positive or negative. It will come to pass. You could do it right now. You could think about something positive and go do it. And you could think about something negative and you go do it. You think about something happy and you'll be that. And you think about something sad and you will be that. It's the same thing. You could build something to help somebody and you could build something to be destructive to somebody. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Whether it's high or low, it's the same thing. Right? So, I don't remember when I figured that out. I don't know if it was this year or last year, but I've been looking to this, pretty often and frequently, and it came to me and it keeps coming to me. And I wrote a paper on water holding memory, and I just, I never put it down. I would go back and read it and just go over certain things. Probably now I'll go back over the entire thing and see how much I've learned since then, because when I had that epiphany, I was just like, what? How did I not see this before? You get me? So, that's my notes. Manifestation. I mean, lately my words are just haven't been, I don't know, but I'm going to continue to keep trying because I want good speech. I want to be able to speak properly. And I love my accent. I want to speak it like, I want to speak it. You get me? I want to chat the patois said way. You see me? I don't want to let go of the patois, I don't want to let go of the patois. And so I have to find a way to mix it too. I want to mix the both of them together like rice and peas. I tried to find some other food to mix with it, but nah, rice and peas go good. Yes, sir. Hey, I bet nobody has podcasts like these, bro. Nobody ever breaks down stuff like this because y'all be doing too much. Y'all be doing too much. Y'all be trying to have everything perfect and like y'all got everything figured out. No, niggas still out here, still struggling and still trying to get stuff together. But as we getting it together, we're dropping knowledge because we're just figuring out stuff. And I might be late to the game with certain things, but at least I'm playing it. At least I'm trying it. At least I'm having some breakthroughs. And maybe, not no maybe, one day I will catch up and one day I'll surpass y'all niggas. I'll surpass. Y'all ever heard the student? Is it the student beats the master? The student ascends the master. Like, what's the saying again? I can't remember right now. I'd have to Google it right now, right? But in any case, another lecture by the one and true only